Bassrift is a United Plugins plugin and a multi-effect tweaked for electronic bass. But as you will hear in this video, it is not limited to that only. Bassrift is released under the Instant Audio moniker, and that instant part already tells you what kind of multi-effect this is. It uses simplified controls for a selective amount of effects to quickly dial in a sound. But when you look at the interface, you see that there's still enough to tweak. The plugin breaks down in two parts, and this is linked to this, in my opinion, fantastic looking crossover filter here. The higher band in red always uses these three modules. Flow does modulation, space does reverb and delay, and it has a comb filter and reverse. Heat is everything saturation and distortion related. Any of these three effects can be enabled or bypassed and be placed in any order here below. That is excellent. The lower band, in blue, has its own special safe bass section, and that consists of a compressor, enhancement and a mono maker. The crossover between the upper and lower band is done with this slider. You have the choice of 4 different slopes and separate level and solo controls. These two bands get merged at the end, where you get additional tonal controls, 2 filters, a maximizer and a handy mioght control. The overall sound of the plugin is pretty good and there's some saturation happening. All of this will give you a set of tools to spice up electronic bass sounds and more. Before we get over the effects here on top, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And here's the sponsored part of this video. Are you a musician looking to get your music onto popular streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify? Look no further than DistroKid and its handy app. DistroKid makes it simple for artists to get your music out there. Plus you keep 100% of the royalties you earn from your streams. Why not give it a try and see for yourself why so many artists are choosing DistroKid to distribute your music. Use the link in the description of this video to get 7% off of your first year on DistroKid. Bassrift gives you 12 effects divided in 3 modules. Here's how they sound. On the top left you find the 4 modulation effects of flow. On stereo tracks, the chorus is stereo only, even when the source is mono. It is a nice sounding chorus without a doubt. This is the flanger. And here's the phaser. An absolute highlight for me of the flow module is wobble. This one sounds really good. Besides having a simple level change, there's also a filter involved. The space module starts with delay. It is a very simple delay and for some reason this one is mono only. This is the opposite of what happens with the chorus, and a simple switch for ping pong would be nice. Reverb never gets 100% wet or extremely long. It goes up to 2 seconds. I guess that makes sense since this plugin is for bass instruments. Here's reverse. The comb filter sounds like a very tiny room, with obvious comb filtering. It can transform a flat sound like this into something with a lot more vibe. You can see me adjusting the output volume manually, but you don't have to. If you enable automatic gain compensation, it will be taken care of for you. The heat module comes with 4 flavors of saturation and distortion. This is how they sound. Every time you switch between the 4, the settings change as well. On one hand, I think it will be nice to have the same amount every time, but like this you can find the best sound with each of these 4 and switch between them to decide which one you prefer. There's actually a 5th way to get distortion, and that's clipping. You enable that here, and with the output volume you tune how much you drive into this clipping. Overall, I think this is a sweet plugin. There's more than enough to add vibe to your tracks, and there's also enough to tinker around with. I think United Plugins have found the right balance with this plugin. Check it out, intro price is around 16 freedom monies, which is an absolute steal.